Cowboys fans, let's settle in because the story of this season took another twist the moment Dallas walked off the field with that win over Philadelphia. The playoff picture might look tight, almost suffocating at times, but that victory kept the door cracked open just enough for hope to slip through. Nobody here is pretending the road is easy. Dallas sits deep in the NFC standings, staring up at a staircase filled with teams stacking wins and blocking the path. Los Angeles sits out front with 9 wins and 2 losses. Philadelphia and Chicago follow with 8 wins. Tampa Bay sits with 6 victories. Seattle keeps rolling with 8 wins and 3 losses. Green Bay is floating with 7 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie. And San Francisco sits with 8 wins and 4 losses. Add in a couple more teams hovering just ahead, and you get a picture of a conference that is jammed from top to bottom. That is why the Cowboys' margin for error is basically non-existent. 6 games remain, and, realistically, only 1 can be lost without the whole thing falling apart. Winning all 6 would all but guarantee a postseason spot, but winning 5 keeps the dream breathing as long as the loss happens in the right place. Thanksgiving against Kansas City, Thursday night under the lights against Detroit, a Sunday night battle with Minnesota, then afternoon matchups with Los Angeles and Washington on Christmas Day, closing with a game against New York. It is a demanding stretch loaded with national attention, pressure, noise, and zero room for missteps. The math behind it all shows something interesting. The only game Dallas can afford to drop is the one against Kansas City, simply because it does not swing conference tiebreakers. Lose that one and win the rest, and the playoff probability shoots above 70%. But drop the one against Detroit, and the whole thing shrinks to barely more than half. Detroit has too many wins already, and a head-to-head tiebreaker would bury Dallas beneath another layer of difficulty. Minnesota, once a major obstacle, has slipped and now hangs at the edge of the race, wobbling between staying alive and completely falling out. The Chargers do not hurt Dallas as much because the matchup is an AFC game. Washington stays in the mix mathematically, but losing to a division rival late in the year would create a tidal wave of problems. New York sits at the bottom, and losing that game would not even be a setback. It would be a sign that everything has collapsed internally. So although the analytics give Dallas a sliver of hope, that sliver depends on perfection, timing, and a very specific combination of results. The division race adds another layer of drama. Dallas is still multiple steps behind Philadelphia, and catching them requires something close to a meltdown from the Eagles. That is why eyes are locked on their Black Friday matchup. If Chicago manages to beat Philadelphia, the entire division could suddenly shift from predictable to chaotic. From there, the Eagles still face Los Angeles, 2 meetings with Washington, and a game with Las Vegas. Most of those are winnable for them, which is why simulators across sports sites lean heavily toward Philadelphia, securing either the division or a wild card. But if they stumble on Friday, that small crack of opportunity becomes something much more interesting for Dallas. The problem is that the safer route still seems to be the wild card because the NFC East feels like a ladder with missing rungs unless something truly unexpected happens. The wild card chase gets even trickier. Seattle and Los Angeles look locked in. The NFC North winner is assured a spot. The NFC South winner gets in no matter how shaky that division looks. That leaves only a couple of chairs for a handful of teams fighting for air. Chicago has a brutal schedule ahead with Philadelphia, Green Bay twice, Cleveland, San Francisco, and Detroit. Their record helps them, but the path is absolutely monstrous. Green Bay has Detroit on Thanksgiving, then Chicago twice, Denver, Baltimore, and Minnesota. Their schedule mixes winnable games with heavyweight matchups, leaving them balanced between a surge and a collapse. San Francisco is the one team Dallas desperately needs to stumble, but their schedule begins soft with Cleveland, a bye, Tennessee, and then tough matchups with Indianapolis, Chicago, and Seattle. If San Francisco reaches double-digit wins before Dallas even has a chance to close ground, that path slams shut. Detroit faces Green Bay, then Dallas, then Los Angeles, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and Chicago. Carolina sits just ahead but has dropped key games, and Tampa Bay also carries an easier schedule filled with opponents below the playoff line. The reality is that in the NFC South, probably only one team survives, but both must be kept as far back as possible to avoid a late-season traffic jam. All of this creates a strange situation for fans deciding who to cheer for in other games. In many weeks, rooting guides go against instinct. Green Bay beating Detroit might actually help Dallas by shuffling the North and knocking Detroit down a notch. Cleveland beating San Francisco is the biggest boost available, shifting probabilities by several percentage points. Los Angeles beating Carolina keeps the Panthers from rising. Minnesota beating Seattle might spark hope for a Seahawks collapse, though that still feels unlikely. Arizona beating Tampa Bay would keep the NFC South from pushing an extra team into the mix. Each week turns into a puzzle where a win here or a loss there changes the entire equation. And above all that sits the question every fan is wrestling with right now. Should you pull for the wild card route or hope for Philadelphia to implode and open the door to the division? Both paths exist, both paths are steep, and both require a little bit of chaos to unfold. The wild card path asks for Chicago to slip, Green Bay to drop key games, Detroit to stagger, and San Francisco to show weakness. The division race demands Philadelphia to unexpectedly crash through the final stretch of the season. Neither option is easy, but both remain technically possible, which keeps the season alive and the conversation burning as Dallas moves into the final chapter of its schedule. All right, Cowboys fans, the drama only intensifies as we move deeper into the final stretch. Every week from here on out feels like a playoff game, even before the postseason officially begins. Dallas' path is narrow, and the reality is the team can't afford to let up even once. The next 6 games are like a gauntlet, each one carrying immense weight, not just in the standings, but psychologically for the players and the fans. Thanksgiving against Kansas City is the first big test. It's a primetime spotlight, and everyone will be watching, but fortunately, it is the one game where a loss has the least effect on the overall playoff probability. Still, no one wants to lose it. After that comes Detroit on Thursday night, a game that cannot be dropped under any circumstances. Losing to the Lions would put Dallas in a precarious position where even winning every other game might not be enough. Minnesota is next, a team that's teetering on the edge of contention themselves. So, a win there is critical to keep the playoff chances alive and maintain momentum. Then the Cowboys travel back to face Los Angeles in an afternoon matchup, followed by Washington on Christmas Day in another challenging slot, and the schedule closes with New York. Each game is a test of consistency, of focus, and of resilience under pressure. The tricky part is that Dallas isn't just playing their own games. They're at the mercy of what happens across the conference. Los Angeles, Seattle, Green Bay, and the other NFC teams all factor into the equation. Any stumble by the opponents above them in the standings could be the difference between securing a playoff spot or watching from home. Chicago's schedule is brutal, but they've managed 8 wins already, so they are a dangerous team to count out. Green Bay is a constant factor, especially with a Thanksgiving matchup that could swing the balance of the NFC North. San Francisco's soft start could be deceptive. They have tougher games down the line that could shake up the playoff race dramatically. And don't forget the NFC South, where Tampa Bay and Carolina are still in the mix, but only one is likely to survive. Keeping both back is ideal for Dallas, so fans find themselves not just cheering for their own team, but almost playing the role of a mathematician trying to influence the outcomes elsewhere. This is where the playoffs simulations and percentages come in, giving a sense of control in an otherwise chaotic picture. Some models put Dallas at around 14% chance of making the playoffs, others slightly lower or higher, but the key is these numbers are live, breathing entities. They change with every kickoff, every turnover, and every score. Even one game lost at the wrong time could drop those chances dramatically. One game lost at the right time might barely dent the odds. And because the schedule is weighted with nationally televised, high-pressure games, the psychological element becomes just as important as the statistical one. The team needs focus, health, and a bit of luck to navigate this last stretch. And the fans? They are living every moment with bated breath, analyzing every other result across the NFC and hoping for chaos in just the right places. Philadelphia remains the elephant in the room. 2.5 games ahead, the Eagles appear to have the division locked, but even they are not invincible. A single unexpected loss, like the one Chicago could deliver on Black Friday, could shake the top of the standings and provide Dallas with a glimmer of opportunity to catch up. That is the fine line the Cowboys are walking, close enough to dream, far enough that one mistake could crush the hopes entirely. Even if Dallas wins every other game, Philadelphia needs to stumble to open the division route. And yet, the wildcard path, though more plausible, demands near perfection from Dallas and mistakes from multiple teams above them in the conference. It's the kind of complexity that makes the last 6 weeks of the season endlessly fascinating for fans, analysts, and even casual observers who are drawn to the drama of the NFL's playoff race. The interplay between wins, losses, tiebreakers, and matchups makes each week feel like an epic chess game. Detroit versus Green Bay, Cleveland against San Francisco, Los Angeles taking on Carolina. Every result could shift probabilities, open doors, or slam them shut. For fans, this means juggling hope and realism at the same time, deciding who to root for outside of their own team, and trying to mentally calculate what needs to happen to keep Dallas alive. Even games that seem inconsequential on the surface can dramatically affect the standings and playoff math, especially with the tiebreakers, head-to-head records, and conference records in play. It is a constant balancing act, with the smallest margins making a difference between making history and watching history from afar. In the end, the final 6 weeks promise to be a roller coaster of emotions. Dallas must navigate a narrow path, face high-pressure games, and watch the outcomes of other teams to calculate their survival. The combination of strategy, execution, and circumstance will determine whether they enter the postseason or watch it from home. The excitement is palpable because every game, every play, and every decision carries weight. As the Cowboys fight to keep their playoff dreams alive, the tension builds week by week, making this one of the most compelling stretches of the season in recent memory. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers are heating up across the NFL, and it seems the Dallas Cowboys might be ready to shake up their roster in a way that could send shockwaves through the league. According to ESPN insiders, the Cowboys are reportedly preparing a blockbuster trade for Patrick Surtain II, the young cornerback whose rise in recent seasons has caught the eyes of scouts and fans alike. While nothing is official yet, sources close to the organization suggest that Dallas is seriously considering moving assets to bring Surtain aboard, a move that could instantly redefine the team's secondary. Surtain, who has been a standout in coverage with his rare combination of size, speed, and instinct, would bring an immediate upgrade to a Cowboys secondary that has shown flashes but often struggled against elite passing attacks. Imagine pairing him with the existing talent in Dallas' defensive backfield. Chatter around league circles is that it could elevate the unit to one of the most feared in the NFL, capable of shutting down even the league's most prolific receivers. Rumors suggest that Dallas is willing to go big, and while details of the trade package remain murky, the buzz is that the front office is leaving no stone unturned to make it happen. Fans and analysts alike have started dissecting what a certain acquisition could mean for the Cowboys' defensive schemes. His versatility allows him to play both outside and in the slot, giving coordinators the freedom to create more aggressive coverage packages. Some insiders speculate this move could signal a broader commitment to investing in a defense that complements the explosive offense Dallas has built, aiming to become a more balanced team capable of deep playoff runs. The league is abuzz with speculation about the potential fallout, which picks or players might be on the move, how Dallas would integrate Surtain, and whether this could trigger a domino effect with other teams looking to bolster their own secondaries. While ESPN's confirmation doesn't yet mean the trade is a done deal, it has set the rumor mill spinning at full throttle. Social media is already alive with debate, mock trade scenarios, and highlight reels of Surtain making jaw-dropping plays that remind everyone why he's considered one of the top young cornerbacks in the game. One thing is certain. If this trade comes to fruition, the Cowboys' defensive identity could be transformed overnight, and Patrick Surtain II's arrival will be the kind of headline-grabbing move that keeps NFL fans talking well into the offseason. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.